The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The Immigration Bureau expects more passengers to flock to airports as Christmas approaches. The agency says around 1.5 million passengers are expected to arrive in December, exceeding figures logged in November. Airport officials are prepared for the influx of outbound passengers and returning Filipinos celebrating Christmas here in the Philippines. They have implemented a no-leave policy for their staff effective from November 15 to January 15. Now, more immigration officers have also been deployed to serve passengers. Immigration officers are prohibited from greeting passengers with Merry Christmas. This is to prevent passengers from thinking that officers are soliciting gifts.
We have to understand na siyempre may negative connotation din ito. Usually yung may return, no? May gift na gusto hinihingi. Sa situation din yan, basically, as much as possible, we discourage our personnel na mag-greet sa ating mga pasahero.
The Transportation Department is keeping the December 31st deadline for PUV consolidation intact despite protests from transport groups. Transportation Undersecretary Timothy Batan told 1PH that attached agencies will extend their office hours on December 31st to accommodate last-minute applicants. Batan added that the LTFRB and the group Piston were able to agree on some terms. Operators of traditional jeepney units will also be given 2 to 3 years to modernize. However, there will be no more extension to the consolidation deadline in line with the President's directive.
Ang ilan pa pong mga napag-usapan ng LTFRB at ng Piston ay ang klarifikasyon po na hindi na lang po isa ang kooperatibang maaaring tumakbo sa isang ruta. Tayo po ay nag-waive na rin ng mga penalties mula po nitong mga nakaraang taon.
Meanwhile, the agency maintains that a transport crisis next year is unlikely. Batan said the LTFRB already has measures in place to address passenger demand in routes lacking consolidated PUV operators. This comes as transport groups Piston and Manibela plan an extended strike next week that may last until New Year.
Karamihan sa mga major na ruta dito po sa Kamaynilaan ay siniserbisyuhan na po ng consolidated operators. Kung sakali man na merong mga lugar, meron pong ibang mga ruta na mawalan po ng operator dahil nga hindi nakahabol sa December 31 deadline, meron na pong mga nakahandang pamamaraan ng LTFRB tulad po ng pag-issue ng special permit doon po sa ating mga consolidated operators.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. As the holidays draw near, migrants in New York City face a harsh reality, the looming threat of eviction from shelters. Now, more details in this report by the Associated Press.
A mí me dijeron que este país era diferente, pero no.
As Karina Abando walks her son to school, she knows the clock is ticking. The 38-year-old migrant from Ecuador moved into the Row Hotel, now a New York City shelter, 3 weeks ago, but now she needs to find a new home. Hers is one of thousands of migrant families in New York's shelter system that have been told they need to clear out and either reapply for shelter housing or find their own way in the coming weeks.
Yo le dije a mi hijo que aprovechen, disfruten el hotel, que estamos con un techo ahorita, porque ya nos van a mandar. Ya nos van a mandar y vamos a estar ya a dormir en el tren o en la calle. Y mi hijo solo se puso a llorar y dijo, tengamos fe.
Mayor Eric Adams' office says some families will receive a holiday reprieve, but no decision has been conveyed to many of the more than 3,000 families that have been issued notices so far. Ana Vasquez, a 22-year-old from Venezuela, is 8 months pregnant. She recently received her notice to leave the Row Hotel by January 8th, less than 2 weeks after her baby is due.
Pediríamos acá al hotel que nos dejen. Si no nos dejan, pues no sé qué haríamos. No tenemos como un plan de escape si no podemos alquilar. Es difícil la situación. Y más con un bebé.
The first wave of New York's migrant families was expected to reach their 60-day shelter limit just days after Christmas. The city, overwhelmed by asylum seekers, has warned there's no guarantee they'll get to stay in the same shelter or even in the same part of the city.
Those families are panicked right now. They could be hours from the closest school or the school that they are currently enrolled in. All of the services and the connections and the community that they've been building in the place where they currently are, all of that could go away.
Many families fear they will have to go through the same process as single adult migrants who line up in the early mornings to petition for a new shelter stay. Some are able to secure 30 more days, others cannot.
We are here every day. People are here every day. Even if you get a shelter, it's for a short time, like 30 days. It means you are not even going to sleep. Because every single day you are waiting for the guard to come to wake you up to tell you, listen, tomorrow you need to leave. You need to leave.
Obando's 19-year-old son and his wife have already been forced to leave the Row Hotel. On January 5th, she fears her and her 2 younger sons will meet the same fate.
Como madre, me duele. Está durmiendo en el tren, en la calle, con frío. Y sí me duele mucho. Y ya mismo nos toca a nosotros también.
Let's now take a quick look at other stories we're watching. The Land Transportation Office secures a new contract for 4 million license cards expected to be delivered next month. This after the Office of the Solicitor General escalated the court injunction on the agency's previous plastic card deal to the Court of Appeals. The Trade Department says at least 5 business agreements could be signed between the Philippines and Japan by Monday, while President Bongbong Marcos is in Tokyo for the ASEAN-Japan Commemorative Summit. The agency did not disclose details, though, about which sectors the deals are centered on. And in sports, Creamline clinched the PVL All-Filipino title after sweeping the conference. This is the Cool Smashers' 7th championship in 10 finals and the team's 13th podium finish. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 10:45 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.